It's that time of year when you need a healing, warming, and comforting meal. I'm Tess, and tonight I will show you step by step how to make this delicious healing Chinese chicken soup stir fry. The chicken is so soft and tender it reminds me of dumplings. Lots of harvest vegetables, and all swimming in a light, bright Chinese chicken sauce. I use the Velveteen Technique to cook the chicken, and this makes it tender and soft. It is a real simple technique, and I've used this method of cooking meat in several of my video recipes. I will leave links to those video recipes below this video. I have a large boneless chicken breast that I cut into thin, small strips, about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm adding in a pinch of salt, 1 egg white, and a couple heaping tablespoons of cornstarch, giving that a good mix to make sure all the chicken pieces are separated and coated thoroughly. Letting that rest for 10 to 15 minutes. I have a pot of water that is just about to a simmer. I'm dropping in the chicken and they will float to the bottom. I'm doing this in a couple batches. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. Once you have all the chicken in, just give it a little stir to make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom. As the chicken cooks, it will rise to the top. It only takes a couple minutes for the chicken to thoroughly cook. Once done, remove from the pan and set to the side. You can use this velveting technique on any meat. The texture is really soft and it really adds a nice balance to the vegetables. The secret to this comforting meal is the sauce, or the broth, and lots of it. I'm starting with 3 cups of homemade chicken broth, and I may add more later if I need it. Homemade chicken broth has so much flavor, but you can use box broth. You can also add in a teaspoon of better than bouillon chicken for more flavor. Just choose the reduced sodium products. You don't want a lot of salt. I have my heat on high and I'm bringing this up to a simmer. I'm adding in a couple cloves of sliced garlic and about a teaspoon or so of chopped ginger, and this will add a nice brightness to the sauce. Now I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing cooking wine, and you can find this at your Asian market. A teaspoon of light soy sauce, a pinch of salt because I'm using homemade chicken broth, and a good drizzle or about 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper, and this will add a little background heat. And finally, a teaspoon of sugar to balance it all out. Don't worry, you won't even taste the sugar. Giving that a good stir, bringing up to a simmer and cooking for 3 to 4 minutes. Just a reminder that I will leave the recipe and the list of ingredients for this healing Chinese chicken soup stir fry below this video. Also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video recipe, and click the bell to make sure you receive notification of all my future video recipes. Now for the healing vegetables. I have 1 diced onion, a couple sliced carrots, and a couple sliced stalks of celery. These 3 vegetables make a great base for any chicken soup. Bringing that back up to a simmer and cooking for about 5 minutes or until the onions become translucent. Next is the broccoli. I kept the florets a nice size so they hold up in the cooking. Broccoli is loaded with vitamins K and C, and it is a powerful antioxidant. Bringing up to a simmer and cooking for a minute. I'm also adding in some yellow squash, and it won't take long to cook. Squash is in season and plentiful. Yellow squash is also packed with vitamin A, B, C, and magnesium. Bringing up to a simmer and cooking for 1 minute. With all these powerful vegetables combined, it certainly will help with your immune system. Now I'm adding the chicken back into the pot and giving it a good stir to combine. At this point, you can decide if you want a little more chicken broth or not. I'm adding in a teaspoon of sesame oil for a little brightness, and here I have a slurry of cornstarch and water for a thickener. I'm adding in a little at a time and stirring. The sauce will start to thicken. I like it like a thin gravy, but you can make it as thick as you like. Since I'm serving this with rice, I want it thickened just a little. The last and final ingredient is at the end, and that is 2 chopped green onions. Giving that a good stir, and it's ready. I don't have to tell you how good and comforting this Chinese chicken soup stir-fry is. All the flavors shine through. I can taste in the background the white pepper, ginger, garlic, and the sesame oil. Nothing overpowering, and the light chicken sauce is so comforting. That is why I made plenty. The velvet chicken is so tender and smooth like a dumpling. I'm serving tonight with some steamed rice, and this is also good with some Chinese egg or rice noodles. Don't forget to spoon over some of that delicious chicken sauce. Hope you give this healing Chinese chicken soup stir-fry a try and enjoy. If you like this video recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love!